By the way, out there, that hat that you keep wearing, that red hat that says "Make America Great Again," that tells people that you go along with this. So you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Because we see it anyway.
The ladies on The View have been getting even more unhinged recently than they have been before. And I know that's crazy to say. I know it's crazy to think that they could even get more unhinged than they were previously, but it's true. And people like Russell Brand and Joe Rogan and even Bill Maher going on The View and calling them out live, they're all just fed up with it. In this video, we're going to talk about what Russell Brand had to say in response to The View's just absolutely insane take. As his title says right here, this is Russell Brand's YouTube video. Title says, "Audience gasps at View host insane take on MAGA supporters." And I'm sure you could probably guess what they're going to say, but it's going to be even more insane than your best guess could be. Trust me. Let's check out this video here from Russell Brand talking about what The View had to say on MAGA supporters.
Forces funneling them endlessly into the hands of your Bill Gateses and your George Soroses? Or is this a time for American people to be continually calling one another Nazis and actually eroding the kind of public faith that's required unless you're going to see mass secession all across your nation? Let's have a look at it. This is the sort of controversial thing. You can see the word Reich there in a video that was made by a Trump supporter and ultimately reposted by the Trump campaign on Truth Social. But I don't know who spotted the word Reich there, faded and distant, barely visible. That's had to pause so fast, like when you're watching Jamie Lee Curtis in Trading Places as a teenager. There's Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs. Or if you're watching, like when I was a kid, Basic Instinct. There, pause. Like, look at that. That's evidence of a Reich. I tell ya, it's a Reich. So let's have a look at how CNN have reacted to the mention of the word Reich.
Donald Trump's Truth Social account posted a video discussing what would happen if he was reelected.
Micah, you could all...
I mean, they're always going to be looking for these things like this. They're going to look for every single little bitty I mean, they've done this since 2016 or even before that. You know, they've always, ever since they've made the decision to spin Donald Trump in a way that he is, you know, the next Hitler. He's this istophobe, this racist, this sexist, etc. They've always looked for every single small little thing that they can spin into proving their point for them. And this is just, I mean, it's just such a reach, in my opinion. It's just such an absolute reach. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that, but it's just such a reach. And it seems like everything, not just that The View says about Donald Trump, but that everyone says about Donald Trump that has TDS, you know, to put it frankly. People like Mark Hamill, people like Bill Maher, people like The View, Joy Behar, Sonny Hostin, Whoopi Goldberg, all of them. Everything seems like a reach to me. And I'm not some hardcore, diehard Trump supporter or anything. But the things that they say about him and the way that they try to spin things, just, it makes me want to trust him even more because of how much they want us to not trust him. You know what I'm saying? So it has the opposite effect on everyone who's not already inside of the cult.
Already tell is using the sort of concerned tone of like, okay, now listen, this is pretty serious. Something bad has happened.
With the newspaper headline referring to a unified Reich, which is a word, of course, associated with Hitler's Third Reich during Nazi Germany. Here's the video. The phrase unified Reich shows up very quickly as part of hypothetical news headlines that announces Trump's hypothetical 2024 win.
I keep missing it when they're actually trying to do it. I will say, though, the person that put the word Reich in a Trump video is playing into the hands of the haters. I mean, it can't be a plan. Like, let's break this down.
If you enjoy content like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
What was wrong with the Third Reich? It was the genocide of the Jewish people, the extermination of the gypsy folk, the mentally ill, the disabled, the eugenics experiments, and the military expansionism into the East that dragged the entire world into war. But we hadn't already had 4 years of an Adolf Hitler administration. What we'd had, in fact, is the subtle manipulation of the existing political system within Germany to ensure that the conditions existed in order to legitimize centralized authority. Hitler making himself first chancellor, then Führer of that nation through a set of manipulative relationships and false flag events, not least of all the burning down of the Reichstag. So you could argue, in fact, that the amplification of fear in the exact same way that Hitler amplified the threat of the communists is closer too Hitlerian, if I can coin such a term, than what Trump is doing or has.
You know, I had kind of an epiphany recording a video the other day where it was, I forgot who it was, but it was somebody calling to the face of Bill Maher, calling Hillary Clinton, it was Megyn Kelly, calling Hillary Clinton the original election denier. And then you start to think about all the things, you know, back in 2016 when Trump won, you know, Hillary Clinton was denying that Trump won legitimately. She was saying the election is rigged, all this stuff. And then 2020 comes around, and by the way, all the leftists agreed with her that Trump stole the election, there was Russia collusion and all this other stuff. 2020 comes around, Trump loses, Trump says the same things as Hillary, you know, and that's just kind of red flag number one. Like, oh, they just keep flip-flopping narratives. When one wins, they use the same narratives as the other side whenever they win, and whenever one side loses, they use the same narratives as the other side when they lose. And then, you know, Trump says, oh, the election was rigged, blah, blah, blah. And the left is obviously like, oh, this guy, he's you know, the next Hitler. He's trying to overthrow the government and all this other stuff. When they were agreeing with Hillary Clinton, who was saying it before, the same exact thing. Then the jab stuff comes around where Trump develops the jab. He's pushing the jab hard. Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, everybody's saying, don't get this. I would never take a Trump jab, blah, blah, blah. Same exact jabs whenever Joe Biden gets in office. They're all shilling it. They're all saying, if you don't get it, you're killing grandmas and all this other stuff. So it's just, it just, you know, it's the same talking points on both sides, you know, going both ways. And here's another example of that, of the left, The View, CNN, Bill Maher, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, all of them calling Trump Hitler and all this other stuff. But as Russell Brand makes a great point there, it's actually a lot closer what the left is doing, the woke left is doing, to being, you know, part of the, like, similar to Hitler, than what Trump is doing. It's a lot closer than what Trump is doing.
Has ever done. In short, the kind of neoliberal, bureaucratic, censorial, surveillance-driven, actual participation in global conflicts through the supply of weapons that many people believe are teetering on the precipice of being pretty exterminatory, if I can use that term, and certainly in their facilitation and support of corporatism, they are abiding by Mussolini's definition of the word fascist, i.e. the commingling of corporations and the state to create one body, one entity that is opposed to the people. So
that's 100% facts, dude. Russell Brand is absolutely just destroying their argument, because there's one side of things who was trying to censor speech. There's our side who was saying, let's just have a free market of opinions and see which one wins out. And there's the other side who was trying to police speech only on one side of things, you know, push one narrative, push one agenda, and shut down Elon Musk and X and Twitter, trying to get Apple to remove X from the App Store and everything like that. You know, it's clear which side is trying to eradicate the other, and it's clear which side just wants free speech and the free market of ideas. It's very, very clear.
Who is it that's really more Nazi and fascistic? Is it Donald Trump, who didn't really even officially make that video? Just someone within the Trump campaign reposted it because they weren't scrutinizing it. Like, wait for basic instinct, Sharon Stone, she's about to cross her legs. Pause. My joke, like Lindsey Graham.
All right, but let's get into Russell Brand reacting to the View clip that really even shocked the View's audience because it was so insane. And Russell Brand absolutely shreds the View for what they say in this clip. Let's check this out.
This story, and do you think that this is a healing way to cover this story, or potentially an incendiary way? Let me know in the chat, you lot.
By the way, out there, that hat that you keep wearing, that red hat that says "Make America Great Again," that tells people that you go along with this. So you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
Don't do that. Let's not do
that. Because we see it anyway.
I think it's more contentious to say that a MAGA hat may as well have a swastika on it than it is for a non-sanctioned member, just a random, to use their description, participator and meme maker, to use the word Reich, which is inappropriate and foolish. But The View is a mainstream cultural artifact, and for them to use the phrase, you might as well put a swastika on your MAGA hat, we all see it anyway. It
just goes to show you how brainwashed these people are. You know, I feel bad for Joy Behar, man. Like, I really feel bad for her and her family. Like, she seems like she has so much, and I'm not saying that in like a patronizing way. Like, I don't mean that in like a patronizing way, like, oh, bless your heart, like they love to say is a racist phrase or whatever. I truly just imagine like Joy Behar being my grandmother and just seeing like how hateful she is. Like she's just so hateful, dude. She like everything that she says has so much like venom in it, you know, like it just like calm down, like get this hatred out of, like why do you have so much hatred in your heart?
I don't know, does that bring people together? Is that in the service of America? It seems to me that that is potentially a more difficult take, a more conflagratory take, if I may say. In addition to the incendiary language, well, I mean, the word Reich, it's a difficult word. Reich is not a word that should be bandied about. But is it true that lethal force was going to be used during the Mar-a-Lago raid? Certainly that's a claim that's being made in some media. What do you think about that? And is it correct to refer to that as an assassination attempt? Or do you think that's a further amplification of a conflict that's clearly present in American culture? What do you think? Do you think that the Mar-a-Lago raid could have become an assassination attempt or not? Let's have a little look at that.
The FBI authorized the use of deadly force during the Mar-a-Lago raid. This according to documents filed by Trump's legal team.
You have to be careful with stuff like this because what we accuse and, you know, talk about the left doing all the time and criticize them for doing is doing too much, basically, you know, over amplifying these situations, making them out to be more than what they actually are. Yes, I'm sure that the Biden admin did authorize the use of deadly force, but you have to think about Fox is so incentivized to find everything that they possibly can to push in this direction. That's their job, right? They want to pander to the pro-Trump side and piss off the anti-Trump side. That's just their job. Same thing goes for CNN and MSNBC on the other way. And they find some very, very ridiculous things to say in order to push that narrative. You have to be careful with these sort of things. I don't know the actual facts behind this. I'm sure that the Biden admin, you know, did do that, or else they wouldn't be reporting it so confidently. But this may just be a normal thing. You know, this may just be a completely normal thing for them to authorize for all raids that they do, maybe on high-profile people or maybe even non-high-profile people. So we'll have to see. I'm not completely sure. I don't think that we should be calling this an assassination attempt. I do think it's weaponizing the DOJ against Donald Trump, and I think that's very, very obvious. And that's wrong. Of course, that's wrong. But to say that it was like an assassination attempt, that's just a little too far for me at this point in time. I wouldn't be the most shocked person in the world if there was an actual attempt on Donald Trump. I don't think that would be shocking to basically anyone watching this content. Just because it seems like that's kind of the direction that it's moving in. You know, they're trying so hard to put him in jail. They're trying so hard to disparage his name. None of it's working. He's still crushing the polls. He still looks like he's going to win the next election if all things are fair. And it seems like that is kind of like the logical next step for the left to take if they want to take him out, which really would suck. And I'm not saying that they are going to do it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if it were to happen. Let me know in the comments, though, what you're thinking about Russell Brand absolutely destroying The View and what they had to say about this MAGA stuff. It's just more insanity, man. It's more insanity from CNN and The View. Shout out to Russell Brand and people like him for shutting this stuff down and just proving how wild and insane these people have gotten. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this whole situation.